Hi lovelies, same day, different energy. I found another t-shirt that I wanted to DIY. When I bought this t-shirt, I wasn't so big on it. Yes, I bought it. I bought it because of the words. It's saying living for the weekend, and I remember I bought this t-shirt when I was at the heart of so much sadness in the place that I was working, and these words were literally life, living for the weekend. I was literally living for the weekend, and even the weekends were just comparing that season and this season that I'm in. It feels like a joke. It feels like a mockery. It's like, what? You thought those days were sad? Anyway, I digress. So now, when you look at this top, I have done a number on it. When I initially got it, because it was an oversize, I had started working on it. Because it was an oversize, I cut the sides like so. You know, the different sizing, and then I tied some of the areas. So I did the cutting on one side and on the other side. Then I wore it as an off shoulder. The first day, which was also the last day that I wore this t-shirt, I got 2 dates. Don't even know how. I don't know if it was my personality or it was that time of the month, or it really had that. I got 2 dates. I had to wow, okay. So yeah, that was that. Then the second time I tried the DIY, I cut the sides of this. My second idea didn't show up well in this, so I don't know if it is because it was baggy or I cut it too deep. But again, this I know for sure is an idea that I'm going to still work on. So now I had started cutting so that I can run through the idea that I want, because at some point I thought that I'm going to just throw this t-shirt, but then in my head I was like, are you really going to throw the words living for the weekend? In my head, when I picked this t-shirt now, my idea was to cut these words and then do a crochet t-shirt. So this is going to be a DIY that is sort of an upcycling kind of tee. But then now that I look at it, let me first of all cut before I speak too much into it, because there's a lot of ways that I can go with this one. I can decide to just use crochet for the side, so the only thing that I end up doing is size it down, and it's going to be like what I did with that jumper of Girl You Got It. One of my quote-unquote dreams is to be wearing clothes that are memed. You saw that I have a t-shirt written Friends. Now this one living for the weekend. There's another one called But God. So I'm working towards building my collection of tops that are memed. Yeah, let me pick the scissors. This is what we currently have, and this is the panel I'm choosing to work with. I feel like if I continue with this, it is still going to be long, so I'm thinking of cutting it on the sides and even below here, so that it's something of the sort. I don't know if I'm going to show the whole process, because lately I want to tend to my soul and not to the audience. If we get content out of this, well and very good. But if you don't get content out of it, man, we are adults. I'll just show you the end product. I think I'm gonna go a little bit straighter. This season of my life, there's a look I'm going for. Back in the days, it used to be, I didn't want to be seen, so I used to wear hoodies, I used to wear black, I used to wear gray. Don't get me wrong, I still love my blacks, I still love my grays, but I'm not about the baggy clothing, the hoodies. Well, I'm not about to be on your face. Here I am, but like, I'm not about to dress like a gypsy, but you know, I don't want to be ignored. I want my presence to be felt. So what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to cut off the sides, get a nice panel. You know, to be honest, I thought I was gonna get a smaller panel. I thought I was just gonna get like a smaller panel, leaving for the weekend here, or like something that covers from here to here. So I thought I was gonna do almost like a sweater, but then, because you know, anytime you put yarn on anything, even if you call it a top or a t-shirt, it still is a sweater. That is what I'm working with. I'm going to reduce it even further. I'm going to reduce it here. Ooh, I don't know. It might be a hit, it might be a miss. So, but I love the scoop neck that I intend to keep. Do I want it to go so far? No. So yeah, let me work on this and then I'll show you the progress as my body wills. If it doesn't will, I'm sorry. If it wills, then I'll show you. Yeah, see you in a few. This is what we have. And since we've gotten a longer panel than I thought I would have, I think now what I will work on is the back panel. So we'll have an entire square, just a simple basic rectangle that I will attach here, like you will see. Then I will see if in these fragments of cloth I can have, my god, I think we'll keep this as simple so that the star of the show is this me leaving for the weekend. So that I do a very simple black rectangle, and then maybe I'll add a crochet panel, or maybe I'll use this depending with where my energy levels and the creativity will get me, or maybe we just leave it as a vest. The reason you've seen me clenched to my face is because I've realized that I can do the same design that I had here. You know, this X, I know it looks like a lot of fabric, but I promise you there's a design here. There's a lovely design here. Someday I'm wondering if I should do that, but anyway, because DIY of t-shirt, like I said in the previous video, is something that I'm learning how to do. Let me just take this slowly. Let me not go ahead of myself until maybe when I've done like 5-6 designs, and maybe now I can incorporate different designs. So now I'll just do a very basic upcycle. Let me have a black rectangle. We'll probably do half double crochet. I feel like it's neater and it doesn't consume so much yarn, and then we'll take it from there. You know, be on the lookout. So far this is adorable. I didn't think I'll get this much fabric. I didn't think I'll get this much. I thought I'll just get the words what, and I didn't think I could love this top like more than I did love it, because when you look at it closely, you'll realize it's a material that was loved, that was thoroughly loved before I thrifted it. But it is okay, it's okay. We are going to sell this. Let us see what the final look will look like. I have an update. This is what I currently have, thanks to a 2-hour phone call between my sister and I, then later my mom. This is where it has gotten me into. So I've looked through my yarn stash, and my black medium weight yarn is depleted. Now the next close to color, one of the darkish color medium weight that I have is this brown one. When I put this one side by side, I'm sure you can see that you can spot the difference. So it says I use this brown one or I use this. This is a black one, yeah, but like the weight is so heavy. I'm debating whether to use the heavier one or to use a brown one in my head, because one of the goals that I have in this current season is completing the yarn stash that I currently have before deciding whether or not I'll continue with the crocheting and knitting as an art. I feel like I'm slowly transitioning into a different season of my life. So as I debate about that, this is the only brown, dark chocolate brown yarn that has remained. So I'm thinking I should finish this. And considering the size I want for the project, and this is the back, I feel like this is going to be enough. If it's not going to be enough, then probably I'll be forced to use this one, and it's going to look very funny and not the kind that we laugh about. So I think I'll force issues. I'll show you the progress as I continue. So at the moment, this is what we have, and you can see this row has ended at that. So from here you'll see a brown, but in my head I'm like, it's going to be at the back. I'm not so worried. Plus I feel like it's going to add that little something. Is it really a DIY if it doesn't have that little awkwardness to it, or like a customization to it? Is it? Yeah, so I'll give a feedback. I'll give you the progress once I have one. Good morning. It's 4 a.m. in the morning. The following day, I'm about to shower, do my morning routine, and look alive. But in the meantime, I came to show you the progress. This is the progress we currently have. We started off with the black one, which ended around here. Then this is the brown one. When I finished this panel, I loved the progress. But as you can see, I have attached the top and then one of the sides. So when I wore the top, I realized that this part is so tight. It is overly tight. So I need to add more rows on this side. So that could mean that I need to unravel the brown side, because the other brown that I'm having was the one that I'm attaching this yarn with. It is the very small one, is it called a one ply? Yeah, the one ply yarn that I use to make earrings. And it's annoying me because now it means that I need to double strand or triple strand for me to get this medium weight. And then the colors are not exactly perfectly the same. So it's annoying me because now I feel like it's going to give this back some sort of a scrappy look, and you know I'm not a big fan of a scrappy look. So I'm trying to debate whether I should unravel a certain beanie that I made for my sister, but that has now become big. I'm debating, but it fits me well with my afro hairstyle. So I don't know if I should unravel that or I should double strand the small yarn. But currently this is the progress. This is the back where we have the crochet. Then this is the front. Another thing that I'm thinking about is the arms. I feel like as a vest, as a top that you can stay with it home, for staying at home or just outside the office, this is such a good project. It is good as is. But I wanted to make a top that is versatile. I didn't want it confined in one certain setting. And I also thought that I had started with the black, sewing in with the black portion, so that even if it is to add, I can add the brown. So it means that I need to unravel this section, I need to unravel this section. So I'm feeling a little bit bummed out, but there's a saying that my sister and I have lately, that a win is a win. Even if the only thing that I do today is sit down here and show you this progress, then that is something that I've added to the project, and a win is a win. If I turn off the camera and for some reason I get the energy, I get the yarn and continue, that is also another win. So let me see what I'll do, then I'll come and show you the progress when I do have. We have a complete product, and this is the final reveal. I love it when happy accidents occur. So like I showed you in the progress, we started with the black yarn until I finished the one that I had. Then I started working on the brown yarn, and this explains why I started on the brown yarn from here. And then now we worked the back panel. So as I completed the back panel, I had told you that I did not want this top to end up being a sleeveless because it will limit the places I could go out with. So now I added a little bit of the sleeves, and here is the happy coincidence. When I was working with this brown yarn, some very little yarn remained, so I decided, let me work on this sleeve because I had started attaching from this side. So once we had this much of a sleeve, the brown yarn depleted. Then now I decided, since here we have brown, we can do a black here. So now it looks like the brown and black was intentionally placed so that we have a black here, brown here, brown here, black here. And I feel like it's brought the t-shirt together. I'm not sure if you can still call it a t-shirt, but I'm deciding to call it a t-shirt. So now I haven't weaved in the ends yet, but I'll do that. For now, I want to fit it for the first time and show you the final reveal. Are you ready for the final reveal? Ta-da! This is what we have. I love the product. I love the final product. This is something I can really work with. I love how it's even fitted below my belt. I love the fitting, and I don't know, I feel funny in it because the texture in the front and the texture in the back is a little bit different, because it's very soft at the front and at the back it's very scratchy, you know, like a sweater is, like an acrylic sweater would be. Then look at the feet. I think we hit it with the feet. Now we look like we're actually leaving for the weekend. This is what I imagine a fun t-shirt with such a meme would feel like when I wear it. It will give me an excitement wearing it. So this is, I feel like for me, this is another hit DIY. What do you think? It's a little bit disappointing how the material looks. It looks scratched and all, but I can live with that. I can live with that. So this is the final product. I feel like this is better than what we had initially, because if I hadn't thought of DIYing this t-shirt, I would have thrown it away, because from the way I had tried different designs, it was beyond repair. But I'm glad my crochet skills came to the rescue. I haven't even shown you how it looks at the back. This is how it looks at the back. Let me know, have you ever tried DIYing a t-shirt before, and your thoughts about upcycling or DIYing old t-shirts? And as for this, do you think it's a hit or a miss? For me, I love it. Thank you for riding with me up till this moment. Kindly consider to like, share, subscribe, and until the next one, bye.